The destruction of black prosperity was never a series of unfortunate accidents. It was a calculated architectural strike against the foundation of global sovereignty. You felt the weight of academic gaslighting that frames urban renewal as progress while ignoring the tactical erasure of our ancestral success. This systemic anti-black racism wasn't just a local phenomenon. It was a repeatable blueprint manifest in the Rosewood, Florida massacre, the destruction of Seneca Village, the dismantling Hayti district Durham, the Hill district Pittsburgh history, and the Idlewild, Michigan decline. These were not mere displacements. They were coordinated attempts to shatter the economic blueprint of Black Wall Street and compromise the very core of Black survival. We refuse to let history remain a record of loss. Instead, we frame it as a blueprint for global solidarity, connecting our struggle to the liberation of Sudan, Palestine, and the Congo. In this manifesto, you'll discover how the architect is transmuting these historical scars into a vision for economic resurrection. We analyze the shift from the 1857 displacement of 1,600 residents in Seneca Village to the March 2026 financial close of the $90 million Villages of Hayti project. This is your guide to understanding the architecture of our past to build the sovereign future we deserve. Systemic erasure is the intentional dismantling of black self-sufficiency through state-sanctioned violence. It's an anti-architecture. While the architect builds for permanence and elegance, systemic anti-black racism seeks the demolition of every black-owned brick. This process was never random. It was a repeatable strategy executed in the Rosewood, Florida massacre, destruction of Seneca Village, dismantling Hayti district Durham, Hill district Pittsburgh history, Idlewild, Michigan decline, and countless other sites of black survival. We don't view these as isolated tragedies. They're tactical strikes against the economic sovereignty of the black race. In January 1923, Rosewood transformed from a thriving turpentine hub into a site of state-sponsored clearance. The destruction of Rosewood was a calculated strike against the black middle class. It wasn't merely a riot, as generic history suggests. It was the forced liquidation of property owners. The state of Florida eventually acknowledged this in 1994, paying $2.1 million in reparations to survivors. However, the culture of silence, enforced for 71 years, successfully prevented the transmission of economic blueprints to the next generation. This Rosewood Massacre serves as the master template for the economic siege we're still fighting today. Between 1825 and 1857, Seneca Village stood as a testament to black property ownership in New York. It housed 250 residents across 50 homes, boasting 3 churches and a school. The city used eminent domain to displace approximately 1,600 people total to create Central Park, framing the erasure of prosperous black landowners as a necessity for public good. Losing ancestral land to municipal aesthetics isn't just a loss of capital, it's a psychological assault. The architect identifies these patterns as an ongoing war on black space that connects the displacement in Manhattan to the current sieges in Palestine, Sudan, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. The Rosewood, Florida massacre, destruction of Seneca Village, dismantling Hayti district, Durham, Hill district, Pittsburgh history, Idlewild, Michigan decline, systemic anti-black racism, and the enduring spirit of black survival are the primary data points for our global reconstruction. Urban renewal was never about revitalization. It was a tactical deployment of Negro removal. While the previous section analyzed state-sanctioned violence, this era introduced the bulldozer as a weapon of systemic anti-black racism. The mission of the ARC project is to preserve the intellectual history of these districts because they represent the blueprint for our economic resurrection. The dismantling Hayti district, Durham, and the Hill district, Pittsburgh history prove that infrastructure is often used as a siege engine against black prosperity. We don't see these as local planning errors. We see them as coordinated strikes against the Black Wall Street economic model. Durham's Hayti district once stood as the Black Wall Street of the South. It wasn't just a neighborhood, it was a sovereign economic engine. In the 1960s, the construction of Highway 147 bisected this elite hub, bleeding out its commercial vitality. We see the echoes of this today. Even as the Durham Housing Authority reached a financial close in March 2026 for the $90 million Villages of Hayti project, the original scars remain. This first phase aims to build 252 affordable units by the fourth quarter of 2027, but the architecture of survival requires more than just housing. It requires the restoration of the economic heart that was surgically removed. Pittsburgh's Hill District suffered a similar fate. Once known as Little Harlem, it was a center of jazz and black intellectualism. The construction of the Civic Arena in the 1950s displaced thousands of residents and businesses, creating a zone of economic isolation. This wasn't an accident of planning. It was a strategy to prevent the intergenerational transfer of wealth. Current efforts like the New Pathways project, funded by an $11.32 million federal grant, aimed to complete infrastructure improvements by September 2031. However, the architect recognizes that these localized struggles are part of a global pattern. The same forces of erasure targeting our districts are active in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Sudan, and Palestine. The Rosewood, Florida massacre, destruction of Seneca Village, dismantling Hayti District Durham, Hill District Pittsburgh history, Idlewild, Michigan decline, systemic anti-black racism, and the resilience of black survival are the foundations of our global manifesto. The Idlewild, Michigan decline offers a chilling case study in the vulnerability of isolated prosperity. While mainstream records suggest the resort's fall was a natural byproduct of integration, the architect identifies a more calculated pattern of institutional disinvestment. Without a protective architectural and economic shell, even the most vibrant black spaces remain susceptible to the shifting winds of systemic anti-black racism. Black survival is the marriage of economic autonomy and intellectual sovereignty. We've seen this blueprint of erasure play out from the Rosewood, Florida massacre. Destruction of Seneca Village, dismantling Hayti District Durham, Hill District Pittsburgh history, Idlewild, Michigan decline, systemic anti-black racism to the contemporary fight for black survival. Prosperity without protection is merely a temporary reprieve. Idlewild thrived when we were forced into exclusivity, but it lacked the sovereign infrastructure to withstand the predatory nature of open markets that favored external capital over local ownership. The architect's blueprint demands that we build ecosystems that don't rely on state permission to exist. We're moving beyond the ruins of the past to construct a Bárka that secures our future. The Global Manifesto connects the dots between the Hill District and the Gaza Strip. The same tactics used in the destruction of Seneca Village are mirrored in the erasure of indigenous populations in Palestine, Namibia, and Sudan today. This is a singular war against self-determination. We offer the opportunity for the black race to unite through an economic and literary front. To arm your mind for this struggle, visit the ARC Project Store, our movement's armory for the revolutionary intellect. History isn't a museum, it's a blueprint we're rewriting for 2026 and every year that follows. We've exposed the tactical blueprints of erasure, the patterns found in the Rosewood, Florida massacre, destruction of Seneca Village, dismantling Hayti District Durham, Hill District Pittsburgh history, Idlewild, Michigan decline, systemic anti-black racism, black survival serve as the data points for our global reconstruction. These aren't just American tragedies, they're the domestic front of a global siege impacting our brothers and sisters in Sudan, Palestine, and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. We refuse to be victims of a design we didn't create. Raheem Muhammad, the architect of this movement, has established a repository for the black intellectual elite. We're reclaiming the economic blueprint of Black Wall Street to ensure our next foundations are unshakable. This manifesto isn't just a record of what was stolen, it's a guide for what we're building next. Your intellectual sovereignty is the first brick in our new sovereign Bárka. Arm your mind with the literature of the revolution at the ARC Project Store. Build with precision and lead with vision.